IELTS Speaking Part 1. Emails. Question 1. Do you often send emails? Model answer. Band 6 answer. Yes, I send emails quite often, especially for school or work. For example, I usually send emails to my teachers when I have questions, or to my boss when I need to report something. I don't usually send emails to friends because I use LINE or other apps instead. Band 7 answer. Yes, I send emails quite regularly, but mainly for professional or academic purposes. For example, in university, most professors prefer emails for formal communication, and at work, it's necessary to email colleagues about schedules or reports. For casual conversations, I almost never use emails, since social media or messaging apps are much faster. I think emails are more about keeping a record and being formal. Band 8 answer. I do send emails quite often, particularly in situations where a formal tone or documentation is required. For instance, when I was applying for part-time jobs in Japan, emails were the standard way to submit resumes or ask questions. Even now, at work, most official matters are handled through email because it leaves a professional and traceable record. For personal communication, though, I almost never use it, since instant messaging apps are far more convenient. So I'd say emails are essential in professional settings, but not really part of my daily casual interactions. Question 2. When would you send emails to others? Model answer. Band 6 answer. I usually send emails when I need to contact a teacher, or when I need to ask about something important at work. For example, if I need to ask about homework or send a report, I use email. Band 7 answer. I normally send emails in more formal situations. For example, if I have to communicate with a professor about a project, or if I need to make an appointment with an office, I use emails because they look more polite. At work, I also send emails to update my manager, since it's more professional than using casual chat apps. Band 8 answer. I typically send emails in situations that require a professional or respectful tone. For example, when applying for internships, arranging meetings, or even contacting customer service, emails feel more appropriate. In Japan, even university clubs often use emails for official communication, which shows how much formality matters. Compared to a phone call, emails also allow me to carefully think about what I want to say, which helps avoid misunderstandings. Question 3. Is sending emails popular in Japan? Model answer. Band 6 answer. Yes, in Japan sending emails is still popular, especially for work or school. Many companies and universities use emails to give information. But for young people, I think LINE or Instagram is more popular for daily life. Band 7 answer. Yes, emails are still quite popular in Japan, especially in professional and academic contexts. For example, companies use email for most official communication, and universities rely on it to send announcements or homework reminders. However, among younger generations, messaging apps like LINE are much more common for everyday use. So I'd say emails are popular, but mainly for formal purposes. Band 8 answer. In Japan, sending emails remains very common, but its popularity depends on the context. In business and education, emails are still the standard tool, since they provide formality and clear records of communication. For instance, Japanese companies are known for their attention to detail and hierarchy, so emails are often carefully written to show respect. On the other hand, in daily life, especially among younger people, LINE or social media apps have largely replaced emails. So emails are popular, but mainly reserved for situations where politeness and clarity are essential. Question 4. Do you think sending emails will be more or less popular in the future? Model answer. Band 6 answer. I think emails will still be used in the future, but maybe not as much as now. Young people like to use messaging apps, so emails may become less popular for daily life. Band 7 answer. I believe emails will still exist in the future, but their use may decrease for casual communication. Messaging apps are much faster and easier, so people will prefer them. However, emails will still be important for work and education, because they are more formal and reliable. Band 8 answer. In my opinion, emails will continue to play an important role in the future, but mainly in professional and academic settings. Messaging apps and collaborative platforms are definitely more convenient for personal communication, and they may even replace some of the roles of email. However, because emails are official, permanent, and globally recognized, I don't think they will disappear. IELTS Speaking Part 2. A person who taught you. Describe a person who taught you something important. You should say who this person was, what they taught you, how they taught it to you, and explain why you think what they taught is important. You have 1 minute to prepare. You have 2 minutes to talk. Model answer. Band 6 answer. One person who taught me something important is my high school English teacher. She was very kind and patient, and I always felt comfortable in her class. She taught me how to improve my speaking skills by practicing every day. For example, she asked us to read English aloud and to try short conversations with our classmates. At first, I was shy, but she always encouraged me to keep trying. I think what she taught me is important because English is very useful for study and work. Thanks to her, I became more confident in speaking English, and it helps me even now when I talk to foreign people. Band 7 answer. A person who taught me something valuable was my English teacher in high school. She was not only a teacher but also a mentor, and she really helped me develop both my language skills and my confidence. She mainly taught me how to practice English speaking effectively. For instance, she gave us tasks to speak in front of the class, and sometimes she organized small debates where we had to share our opinions. At the beginning, I was nervous, but she always supported me and corrected my mistakes gently. The way she taught was very practical. She believed that speaking a little every day was more important than studying grammar for many hours. Because of this, I started practicing English outside the classroom as well, like talking to myself or watching English shows. I think this lesson is very important because learning a language is not just about knowledge, but also about confidence. Thanks to her, I began to believe in myself, and that positive attitude has helped me in many other areas, not just English. Band 8 answer. A person who taught me something truly important was my high school English teacher. She was more than just a teacher to me. She was someone who inspired me to view learning as a lifelong journey rather than just a school subject. She taught me the value of practicing consistently, especially when learning a language. Instead of only focusing on textbooks, she encouraged us to engage with English in real-life ways. For example, she suggested reading English news articles every morning and trying to summarize them in our own words. She also organized classroom activities like role plays and discussions, which made learning much more interactive and enjoyable. Her teaching method was memorable because she combined patience with high expectations. She corrected my mistakes, but she never made me feel embarrassed. Instead, she explained why the mistake happened and showed me how to improve. This approach made me realize that mistakes are not failures but opportunities to learn. What she taught me goes beyond English itself. She made me understand the importance of continuous effort and confidence in facing challenges. For instance, even now, when I face difficulties in work or daily life, I remind myself of her advice. Practice a little every day, and you'll see progress. This lesson has had a long-lasting influence on me, not just in English but also in how I approach new skills and challenges. It taught me discipline, resilience, and the belief that small steps can lead to big changes. That's why I consider her lessons one of the most important things I've learned. IELTS Speaking Part 3. A person who taught you. Question 1. In what ways can we encourage others to accept new ideas and things, accept innovation? Model answer. Band 6 answer. I think the best way is to explain the benefits of new ideas. For example, when people see that new technology can save time or money, they may be more willing to try it. Also, giving them simple instructions can make it easier for them to accept changes. Band 7 answer. I believe people are more open to innovation if they can clearly see how it improves their daily lives. For example, when smartphones first appeared, many people didn't want to use them, but once they realized they could communicate faster and access information easily, they started to accept them. Another way is to create opportunities for people to experience new ideas directly, such as workshops or demonstrations, so they can try things before making a decision. Band 8 answer. Encouraging others to accept innovation often requires a combination of practical and emotional approaches. Practically, people need to understand the concrete benefits, saving time, reducing costs, or making life more comfortable. Emotionally, they need to feel secure and not threatened by change. For instance, in Japan, when electric cars were introduced, many people were hesitant. However, after the government provided subsidies, built charging stations, and car companies showed safety tests, people started to trust the technology. This shows that acceptance of new ideas is not only about the idea itself but also about building trust and creating a supportive environment. Question 2. Can you suggest how we could make children more interested in learning? Model answer. Band 6 answer. I think children will enjoy learning more if it feels fun. Teachers can use games, pictures, or videos in class. Parents can also support by praising children when they study well. This makes learning less boring and more interesting. Band 7 answer. To make children interested in learning, I think we need to connect education with real-life experiences. For example, instead of only reading about science, children could do small experiments in class. In Japan, some schools take students on field trips to factories or museums, and this makes learning more exciting. Also, using technology, like educational apps or interactive videos, can motivate children because it feels closer to the things they already enjoy, like games. Band 8 answer. I believe the key to motivating children lies in personalization and relevance. Every child has different strengths and interests, so giving them the chance to explore subjects in a creative way can spark curiosity. For instance, if a child loves drawing, teachers can encourage them to create storyboards when learning history. Another strategy is collaborative learning, where children work in groups to solve problems. This not only makes learning interactive but also teaches social skills. In Japan, some after-school programs successfully combine robotics with teamwork, which keeps students highly motivated. Ultimately, children enjoy learning when it is active, meaningful, and when they feel a sense of achievement. Question 3. Who would you say is more important to the education of a child, the parents or teachers? Model answer. Band 6 answer. I think both parents and teachers are important. Parents give children their first lessons at home, like good manners. Teachers give children knowledge at school, like math and science. So I cannot choose one, they both have different roles. Band 7 answer. In my opinion, parents have a very strong influence because they shape a child's attitude toward learning from a young age. For example, if parents show interest in reading, children often copy that behavior. However, teachers are also essential because they have professional knowledge and know how to explain difficult concepts. In Japan, many students attend cram schools, which shows how much parents rely on teachers' expertise. So, I would say parents build the foundation, while teachers expand the knowledge. Band 8 answer. I would argue that the importance of parents and teachers is not about choosing one over the other, but about how they complement each other. Parents provide emotional support and instill values such as discipline, respect, and curiosity. For example, a child who grows up in a home where learning is encouraged will naturally be more motivated. On the other hand, teachers provide structured education, critical thinking skills, and exposure to perspectives that may not exist at home. In Japan, the most successful cases are when parents and teachers work closely together, for instance, through regular parent-teacher meetings, so that the child receives consistent guidance both at school and at home. Without this cooperation, the child's education might be unbalanced.
Congrats on making it to the end of this video, and kudos to you if you did all that practice. You are amazing. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And you can also add my official LINE account that's in the profile. And if you do this, then I can send you a free phrases guide that you can use for your practice. All right, happy studying. See ya.